Hello everyone, welcome to SPM IAS Academy. Here we are with another episode of Osমৰ Gaurav Gatha, the glorious history of Assam. So in today's episode, we will discuss about the diplomatic relations of Kamrupa Kingdom with the neighboring countries, neighboring kingdoms and with the feudatories, right? So the diplomatic relations of the Kamrupa kings with the feudatories and the neighboring states are mentioned in the epigraphs. So epigraphs are the main source of informations regarding the diplomatic relations of the rulers of Kamrupa in ancient period, right? So first we will discuss about the relations with the feudatories. Feudatories means during that time there were some feudal lords. In Indian history also in the medieval period ami kisman feudal lords or bikhoye ami dekhiboloi pau feudalism to develop hua India jot ei feudal lords bilakor underot কিছুমান area কিছুমান territory তেওঁলোকক দি দিয়া হৈছিলে and the revenue generated from those territories were used by these feudal lords to maintain a troop, right? So at an army, at a troop maintain korisile and in the time of need they used to provide that troop to the king, right? So jetia rojar dorkar hoisile tetia teoluke he troop to provide korisile rojak, right? Lahe lahe ki hoisile ei feudal lord bilak bahut power ot ahi goisile because you see he particular juntu hihotor junbla feudal lords bilakor under junkhini area asile he area junbilak manu asile junbilak worker asile they had no direct connection with the king. Hihotor karone he manu bilakor karone he feudal lord jone teolukor sob asile, right? Tarpori feudal lord jonor underot eta huge army asile junto teoluke maintain korisile rojai nijor underot he army to narakhi pelai he army to feudal lords bilakor underot maintain kora hoisile. So teolukor he feudal lords bilakor military power asile, right? Teolukor under eta area asile revenue jodi bhal generate hoy they became wealthy at that time aru maje maje ketiaba ei feudal lord bilake nijoke rojar saman buliye bhabisile, right? They started considering themselves to be equal to the kings and যেতিয়াই কোনোবা weak ruler rule কৰিছিলে কামৰূপত তেতিয়াই সময়ে সময়ে এই feudal lords they used to declare independence, right? তেওঁলোকে revolt কৰিছিলে তেওঁলোকে কৈছিলে যে আমি আৰু ৰজাৰ আন্ডাৰত আমি rule নকৰো আমি নাথাকো আমি এতিয়া independently এই particular area টোত rule কৰা start কৰিম. So that was it was very common. This kind of revolts were very common during that period. আমি Indian history to দেখিছো যেতিয়াই এজন ruler death হয় আৰু এজন নতুন ruler আহে বিভিন্ন জায়গাত বিভিন্ন feudal lords হক general হক governor হক তেওঁলোকে revolt কৰে, right? They declare independence. যদি suppress কৰিব পাৰে ৰজাই সেই revolt to fine, otherwise সেই জায়গাখিনি আগৰ যোনটো existing kingdom আছিল তাৰ পৰা আঁতৰি যায়. So it was very important to maintain a diplomatic relation with the feudal lords to avoid these revolts, right? So relation with the feudatories. Feudatories were required to pay an annual tribute and to help the king with a specified number of troops, right? As I have said, at a specified number of troops dibo lagisile rojak aru juntu dibo nwarile it was considered to be a serious offense, right? Fight with the feudatories in case of revolts. And powerful feudatories were appointed to responsible offices in the central administration. So this was a strategy adopted by the Kamrupa rulers to appoint the powerful feudatories in the central administration. Teolukok nijor pora besi durot nopothiaisil karon jetia central administration of teolukok appoint kori rakhisile eta constant monitoring ba eta constant supervision hoi asile je he feudal lords bilake ki kori ase ki kori thaka nai, right? So to avoid any conspiracy against the ruler used to appoint the powerful feudatories in the central administration only. Teolukok province bilakot appoint kora nasile teolukok central administration ot rakhisile, right? So that teolukor uporot nozor rakhibo pare. Important feudatories enjoyed autonomy and had their own subordinate feudatories. You see, if feudatories jumla bahut powerful feudatories asile they enjoyed a certain autonomy. That means they were allowed to take some decisions without taking approval from the king and they had their own subordinate feudatories. Teolukor nijor underoto kisuman feudal lords asile a feudal mane a jumla important feudatories asile teolukor under to kisman feudal lords asile. They were also permitted to grant land in their name without first obtaining a permission from the king, right? So like the king can grant land to various people, for example we have seen that Vuti Varman, he granted land to 200 Brahman families in the Pundravardhan area, right? Similarly these feudal lords, some of the important feudal lords, they were also allowed to grant land in their name without obtaining the permission from the king, but that was not so with the less important feudatories, right? But important feudatories, they were allowed to grant land. Relation with the hill tribes. So some of the neighboring hill tribes owed allegiance to the Kamrupa kings, whereas those of the interior remained independent. Jumblak bahut remote area asile, interior place asile, teolukor juntu he tribal people bilakor nizor eta culture ase, tradition ase, right? So Kamrupor main ruler bilake teolukor he remote area jumblak tribals asile, teolukor juntu lifestyle asile tate besi interfere kora nasile. They were allowed to live their life independently. They were allowed to continue their tradition, their culture without any interference of the ruler. But junkhini plain area usore pajore junkhini hill tribes asile, hey hill tribes, though they owed allegiance to the Kamrupa kings, right? They were under the Kamrupa rulers, but jumlak remote area asile, they remained independent. Now that was the diplomatic relations with the feudatories. Let us have a look about the diplomatic relation with neighboring kingdoms, right? The famous alliance of Bhaskar Varman with Harshavardhan, that we all know about, right? We have already discussed about the alliance formed between Bhaskar Varman and Harshavardhan because they had a common enemy, that was Shashank of Gaura, right? So Harshavardhan wanted to defeat Gaura, and Bhaskar Varman, he wanted to recapture the lost possessions of Kamrupa kingdom, and finally they formed an alliance. The combined army of Bhaskar Varman and Harshavardhana finally defeated Shashanka's army, right? And that is how a very important alliance was formed between these two important rulers of India during that period, right? And he homoyote amar Kamrupa kingdom junto main Indian history, main Indian politics asil tate eta important role play korisile, right? So we all know about the famous alliance between Bhaskar Varman and Harshavardhan. Then there was marriage alliance with Kashmir also, as we have already discussed in our earlier episodes that this Kashmir ruler Meghavahana, right, he married the daughter of Bala Varman, right? To heikini homoyote amar Bala Varmanor timeote duta frontier kingdom Kashmir aru Kamrupar majot eta matrimonial alliance form hoisile, right? Then we get to know about the marriage alliance with Nepal. Nepalor jumlak Lichavi rulers asile, right? Hey Lichavi rulers bilakor logotu eta mane junto Khalostombo dynasty ruler asile Harsha Deva. Hey Harsha Devar timeot eta matrimonial alliance form hoisile with the Lichavi rulers of Nepal, right? Then again we get to know about the marriage alliance with the Rashtrakutas. Pala dynasty rule kori thokar homoyot Indrapala married a Rashtrakuta princess, right? We know that Gopala, he was the son of a Rashtrakuta princess. So this kind of matrimonial alliances were formed with different kingdoms of India during that period, right? So Kamrupa kingdom formed different matrimonial alliances with important kingdoms of India during the ancient period. Now diplomatic relation with China. This is another important topic karon India logot Asomor relation keneko asil boli kole we can trace back the origin of this relation to this period, ancient period. Heikini homoyar porai eta relation maintain kora hoisile China logot. For example, Amrita Prabha was accompanied by Tibetan Buddhist monk Stupa. So you see, Tibetan Buddhist monk Stupa, he accompanied Amrita Prabha, who was the daughter of Bala Varman and who was married to Meghavahana of Kashmir. So Amrita Prabha was accompanied by a Tibetan Buddhist monk. So that means heikini homoyot Bala Varman or Kotor ejon Buddhist monk asile Tibetor. That means heikini homoyot Tibetor logot eta relation maintain hoi asile. right? So সেই কাৰণে Tibetan monk এজনে আহি পেলাই বালাভাৰ্মানৰ কোৰ্টত স্থান পাইছিলে, right? Again, Kalyan Varman, he sent a diplomatic mission to China, right? We know that after annexing Davoka kingdom, which was initially an independent kingdom during the rule of Pushya Varman and Samudra Varman, Kintu Kalyan Varman's time that Davoka kingdom was annexed to Kamrupa kingdom, and after annexing Davoka, Kalyan Varman sent a diplomatic mission to China, right? And we came to know about it from the Chinese record. So tarpora ami gom pao je heikini somoy China logot eta relation maintain korisile. Again, Bhaskar Varman's concern about the Chinese pilgrim Yuan Sang's visit to Kamrupa, that shows the attitude of the Kamrupa rulers towards China, right? So Chinese pilgrimage on ahise Yuan Sang, and Bhaskar Varman was so concerned about this pilgrim. He respected this Yuan Sang a lot. So tarpora gom pai jai je China pora aha ejon manuhok iman besi teo respect korisile, iman teolukok teo ohatu loi pelai agroh korisile, tarpora gom pai je heikini somoyot Kamrupa ruler bilake China proti kenekwa eta attitude ba kenekwa eta relation maintain hoisile between the people of China and Kamrupa. Then Bhaskar Varman's help to Chinese mission headed by Wang Yuan-se. So you see, after the death of Harsha in 1648, right, his throne was usurped by his minister Arjuna, right? And at this time, a Chinese embassy led by Wang Yuan-se arrived Kannauj. Yuan Sang gol Harshavardhanar time tar pisote Harshavardhanar pisot roja hoisile his minister Arjuna, aru heikhini somoyote Wang Yuan-se arrived Kannauj leading an embassy, right? But Arjuna not only ill-treated but put some of them to death. Arjuna, he put some of these Buddhist monks to death, and ultimately Wang Yuan-se, he escaped to Nepal, right? And he sought help from the Kamrupa king along with the Nepal and Bhutan kings. At that time Bhaskar Varman helped this Wang Yuan-se with elephants and horses, right? So you see, heikini somoyot Bhaskar Varmane jonto help korile Wang Yuan-se, so heikini somoyot Bhaskar Varmaner hei help korar porao ami China aru Kamrupa relationer bishoye janibo paru, right? Jetia Kannauj junkhini heikini mat rule kori asile Arjuna, hi jetia ei Chinese pilgrimor লগত misbehave কৰিলে, যেতিয়া চাইনিজ পিলগ্ৰিমজন পলাই যাব লগিয়া হল, সেইখিনি সময় যেতিয়া কামৰূপা কিংডমৰ সহায় বিচাৰিলে চাইনিজ পিলগ্ৰিমজনে, ভাস্কৰ বৰ্মা readily gave his support to the Wang Yuan-se, right? So from that we get an idea about the relationship with China during that period. Now Kamrupa had trade relations with Tibet, China, Burma from very early times. But with Burma, the political interest finally overpowered by the trade interest, and subsequently a group of Taishans, the Ahoms coming from Upper Burma, established Ahom kingdom, right? So trade relation was already there. Trade relation with Tibet, China and Burma was very old, but in case of Burma, political interest finally overpowered the trade interest. So ultimately political interest ot kisuman ahile গ্ৰুপ আহিলে, তাৰ পৰা টাইশানছ যাক আহোম বুলি কোৱা হয়, সো তেওঁলোক আহি পেলাই আপাৰ বাৰ্মাৰ পৰা আহি পেলাই ইয়াতে আহোম ডাইনেষ্টি এষ্টাব্লিছ কৰিলে, which we will discuss in details in the medieval period, right? কৰ পৰা আহিছিলে, কিয় আহিছিলে, আহি পেলাই ক'ত কেনেকে আহোম ডাইনেষ্টি প্ৰতিষ্ঠা হ'ল, that we will see. But all we have to remember at this point of time is that the trade relation with Tibet, China and Burma was very old. Now let us have a look about the social and economic life. So the society was loosely based on Varnasrama dharma, and Brahmanas occupied a position of higher prestige in the society. So that was prevalent in the whole Indian society during that period, right? Ami jodi Gupta period or kotha kau, heikini somoyot caste system rigid hoi goisile bahut, right? To heikini somoyot gote Brahmanism follow korisile, right? To obviously tare impact amar Kamrupa tu ahisile. We saw that this Brahmanas were granted land in different areas, and mainly they were granted land in non-Aryan areas. So Aryan culture amar yate ahi goisile Narakasura somoyor porai, but বহুত জেগাত ম্যাক্সিমাম জেগাত নন আরিয়ান কালচাৰটো ইনিশিয়ালি স্প্ৰেড হোৱা নাছিলে সো ৰজা বিলাকৰ এটা পলিসি আছিলে ইন কালিকা পুৰাণ ৰজা বিলাকৰ ডিউটি বিলাকৰ ভিতৰত এটা ডিউটি এটো লিখা আছে যে তেওঁলোকে Aryanism to spread koribo lage, and with that purpose they granted land to the Brahmins in the non-Aryan areas. So with this settlement of the Brahmins in non-Aryan areas, it helped in the spread of Aryanism in those areas. They also strengthened royal power, right? They opened new areas of settlement. Kisuman enekwa area asile which was not considered to be feasible for settlement at that time. Jod he tribal manu bilak asile, non-Aryan manu bilak asile, এনেকুৱা ভাবা গৈছিল যে এই জায়গাবিলাকত ফিজিবল নহয় সেটেলমেন্ট বাট উইথ দ্য সেটেলমেন্টস অফ দ্য ব্ৰাহ্মণস some new areas of settlement opened, right? And their knowledge, that means the knowledge of these brahmanas, helped in agriculture and animal husbandry also, right? So that is another important contribution of the brahmanas, right? And you see the strict observance of caste rules and the practices of untouchability failed to strike deep roots in this land. The Brahmanas adopted a liberal policy. So caste system which was very rigid in other parts of the country during that period, untouchability which started from the Gupta period in the northern Indian part, those practices failed to strike deep roots in this land. That means Kamrupat, he strict observance of caste rule and practices of untouchability was somewhat not found, right? So yate iman besi he bostu to pua nasile, whereas he Gupta period or homoyot northern Indian ei bostu bilak bahut besi rigidly follow kora hoisile. Yate the Brahmanas, they adopted a liberal policy because they also knew ki yate thakibor hole non-Aryans bilakor logot miliye thakibor lagibo, right? So non-Aryans bilakor logot jetia when they started to interact with the non-Aryans, they also had to adopt a liberal policy. They couldn't remain very rigid, right, with their traditions. Now, the Kaivatas were once prominent in the population of the country. Their main occupation was fishing, but some of them held offices in the state, right? Ekarne Kaivatas kotha tu yate mention kora ase because we have got many Shasana grants, Shasana inscriptions where some regulations were given to the Kaivatas. Kaivatas mane junblak fishermen asile. So although Kaivatas, their main occupation was fishing, but some of them held offices in the state. Kisumane অফিসটো মানে জুমলাক স্টেটৰ আন্ডাৰৰ কিছুমান পোষ্ট আছিল সেই পোষ্ট বিলাকো হোল্ড কৰিছিল, right? There were some other professionals also like potters, weavers, boatmen, etc. mentioned in the inscriptions, right? So that was about social and economic life of the people of Kamrupa during the ancient period. Now let us have a look at the position of women. As I have always say, that okay, while studying history we should give importance to some of the aspects, right? For example, what were the positions of the depressed class and what was the position of women during various times, various period of this history, right? So for example, jeti ami Indian history porhu ami চাও যে আমাৰ position of women to কেতিয়া কোনখিনি সময়ত কেনেকুৱা আছিল, because see, why do we study history, right? We study history to find out some answers to some of the issues that we are facing at this moment. We try to find out the solution, right? Aru ami janiba bisaru je amar je ei society to jumla problem aji ami face kori asu he problem bilak ketiar par arambho hoise, keneke arambho hoisile aru keneke he problem bilak change hoisile, right? So সেই কাৰণে position of women is an important aspect যোনটো আমি কনসিডাৰ কৰিব লাগে হিষ্ট্ৰি পঢ়াৰ সময়ত. So let us have a look. মই ইণ্ডিয়ান হিষ্ট্ৰি যেতিয়া পঢ়াও তেতিয়াও আমি চাওঁ যে position of women বেলেগ বেলেগ পিৰিয়ডত কেনেকুৱা আছিল আৰু এইখিনি সময়তো আমি যেতিয়া অসমৰ ক্ষেত্ৰতো let us have a look কে ancient periodত womenক কেনেকুৱা এটা position দিয়া হৈছিল কামৰূপত. Now when women in upper class homes were expected to be socially accomplished and some sort of education was provided to them, right? So the Kamauli grant of Vaidya Deva, it informs us that its Prasasti was composed by Brahmana Monoratha in conjunction with his wife Padma. Kamali Grantot Lika ase. So, jihetu Padma, which was the wife of Monorath, so teo jihetu ei Kamali Grantu ekeloge teo likhisile, that means some sort of education was provided to the women also during that period. Right? So, heitur pora ami Kamali Grantor pora ami heitu kotha kobo paru je women were given some sort of education during that period. Sculptures of the period portray women as playing on musical instruments and dancing. Right? So, women or jumla hekhini komat mohila asile to teolokor ki interest asile tar bikhoye ami he sculptures bilakor pora eta idea koribo paru. Parda system was probably not known. We don't have any evidence of this Parda system being practiced in ancient Kamrupa. No mention of sati practice in the epigraphs or local literature. Right? To sati practice which was prevalent in the other parts of India during that period, that sati practice was perhaps not followed or not practiced. That sati practice was not present in Kamrupa kingdom during the ancient period, because we don't have found any mention of sati practice in any of the epigraphs of or local literatures. Child marriage was prevalent among the Brahmanas. Widow remarriage was common. Intercaste marriage was not rare among the lower classes. Right? So intercaste marriage oru reference pua jai. Polygamy was almost a universal practice. Polygamy mane bohu bibah ekhini somayot almost it was a universal practice, mane most of the manuhe bohu bibahei korisile hekhini somayot. Right? So the epigraphs and literature depicts the life of the city damsels, courtesans and devdasis and prostitutes. Right? So we have got mention of this courtesans, devdasis and prostitutes in the epigraphs and literature. Right? So devdasis, I hope you know this devdasis, the temple girls, right? Devdasi, servant of gods, jak orpon kori dia hoisile bhagovanor service. Right? Initially they used to hold a very higher position in the society because they were directly connected to the god. But with the beginning of colonial era, so they started to be like they were being exploited. To teolokor tar pisote jonto status asile heitu degrade hobo dorile aru ultimately amar constitution ei devdasis system to ban kori dile etia. Right? So we will discuss about the devdasis in some other episode. Right? But this devdasis, prostitutes, courtesans, these were mentioned in the epigraphs and literature. Right? So that was about the position of women during that period. Now let's have a brief look at their religion. So Kamrupa came into contact with Vedic culture in very early times, right? As we know, this Aryan culture was introduced in Kamrupa by Narakasur himself, right? But in their effort to assimilate the non-Aryans, the Aryans had to radically change their own cultural outlook, and as a result, Vedic culture also acquired new forms. Right? As I have said, the Brahmanas, they adopted a liberal policy in Kamrupa. তেওঁলোক যেতিয়া ইয়াতে আহিলে বাকি জেগাত যেনেকে তেওঁলোকে ৰিজিডলি নিজৰ কালচাৰটো ধৰি ৰাখিছিলে ইয়াতে তেওঁলোকে তেনেকে ধৰি ৰাখিব নোৱাৰিলে ইয়াতে when they came into contact with the non-Aryans in order to coexist peacefully with the non-Aryans of this area, they had to adopted a liberal policy jar karone hihotor nijor jonto Vedic culture asile hei culture to eta notun form pale. Right? So bahut Aryan culture non-Aryan culture logot mix hol বা non-Aryans bilake adopt korile aru bahut non-Aryan culture, non-Aryan practices were adopted by the Aryans. So with this, a new Aryan culture or a new Vedic culture was formed in this part of the country. Shaivism of this period was a fully developed religion, right? Shivor puja kora hoisile. Ancient Assam was an important center of Shakti worship. Shakti puja yate kora hoisile, which is related to sacrifices, right? Boli protha solisile, right? Sometimes it is also related to tantricism, right? and we got this a Shakti puja jontu yate hoisile tar bikhoye ami jontu Kamakhya mondir ase Nilachal paharot ba Tamreswari mondir ase Khodia tar porao ami gom pao je hekhini samoyot ei Shakti puja ba Shakti worship to ancient Assamot kiman besi important asile, right? And apart from these temples, there were numerous literatures from where we get to know that Shakti worship was an important. For Shakti worship, Assam was an important center during that period. Sun worship also prevailed in Assam. We have found the Surya Pahar, Malini Than, then we have Navagraha temple. From that we get to know that sun worship also prevailed in Assam during that period. And Assam had long been associated with Vishnu worship also. We have the legends of Naraka. Naraka koa hoy je he was the son of Varaha avatar of Vishnu, right? Then we have Haigrave Mother temple. Haigrave which was one of the Vishnu's form. Vishnu's Haigrave junto Haigrave formot ase, Haigrave avatarot ase, ter Haigrave Mother temple or pora ami gom pao je tatu Vishnu puja kora hoy. Right, Narokar logot to amar guti baki roja bilake Narokar logote nijoke connect kore because Naraka had a divine origin, right? Naraka Vishnur bora avataror putek asile, right? He karne pisod Varman dynasty pora hekholoke jiman rulers asile sobei nijoke Narakar descendant buli koisile. So from that we can have an idea that Vishnu worship was quite popular during that period, right? And Kamrupa was a stronghold of Vajrayana or of Tantric Buddhism. As I have said, Buddhism or Bahut keta branches asila, almost 18 branches were there. The most important branches were Hinayana and Mahayana. But apart from these two branches, there was another branch which is Vajrayana, which is related to Tantricism. Aru amar ancient Kamrupa jetia Pala rulers bilake rule kori asile, heikini samoyot Vajrayana was getting very popular in this part of the country, right? So Vajrayana, which is related to Tantricism, which is a branch of Buddhism, it got developed in this part of the country in ancient period, right? So Kamrupa was a stronghold of Vajrayana of Tantric Buddhism. There is no evidence of any major conflict between the civil authority and the adherents of various cults in Assam during the period. So you see, Kamrupa has always been liberal, always been tolerant towards all the different sects of people following different religious beliefs, right? So although there's various religious beliefs or various religions were followed by various people of this country, there was no evidence of any major conflict between the civil authority and the adherents. That is another very important point, right? Hekhini samoyot jodio beleg sect follow hoisile, beleg manuhe kisumane Shaivism follow korisile, kisumane Vajrayana Buddhism follow korisile, kisumane Shakti worship korisile, but major কোনো conflict or evidence hekhini samoyot পোৱা নাযায়, right? hekhini samoyৰ কোনো major conflict হৈছিল বুলি কোনো evidence আমি পোৱা নাই, right? So from that we can say that Kamrupa society was tolerant during that period. Kamrupa rulers were also tolerant towards other religions during that period, right? So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.